Hey guys, welcome back to another Swift Programming Logic tutorial. And in this tutorial I'm going to be comparing a for loop and a while loop. So a for loop is a counter controlled loop, whereas a while is condition controlled. And basically I'm just going to be showing you guys where you should use a for loop and where you should use a while loop, and advantages and disadvantages. So for loop versus while loop. Now, basically, the main place where you use a while loop instead of a for loop. So, most of the time you will use them for just looping through lists. So, I'm just going to create a quick list here of just a bunch of numbers. So, I guess I can just have 0, 1, 5, and then the main place where you would be using a while loop is where you have to actually edit the list. So let's just say we wanted to go through this list and display all the numbers. So to do that, you just use a simple for loop, for item in list, and then you just print item. So you can see here you don't actually have any control over the item. Like moving on to the next loop, you can see that it just goes through everything. You don't actually have any control over it. So if I run this now, we'll just get all these numbers printed in the console, which is how it works. You know, that's just how it is. And so yep, there we go, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now let's say I want to do the same thing but with a while loop. So inside of this, all I would do is I would just create a variable here, var I equals to 0. Then I would do while I is not equal to list.count, and then to control the movement above, through the list, you do I plus 1, so it adds 1, and then eventually I will become the list's count, and then it stops the loop. And then what you do is you just do print list I. So instead of just printing the item here, you actually print the list index. So you have to use I, but I is actually the index, whereas here item is the actual item. So once again, that's why you'd use while loops to modify it, since you get the index and not the item, and it's always better to have an index. Now let's just say we wanted to remove 4 from this list. So what you would do is you could just you'd have to use a while loop, and the way you do that is while you're looping through it, you check. So if list I is equal to 4, we'll remove it. So list dot remove at I, and this is why you need to use the index, as it's like so this is why you need to use I, as you get the index rather than the item, which you can't remove if you just have the item. And then since you've removed it, you can't add I, since then you'll skip the next one. So what you have to do is just do else I plus equals to minus 1, I plus equals to 1. So if I run this now, I need to just print the total list afterwards. Print list. So if I just do this, now we'll see that 4 has been removed, like that. Now the reason you wouldn't do this inside of a while for loop, first of all, because obviously you can't remove it with just an item, you need an index. But secondly, since you don't have any control over this step, then you remove it and then you wouldn't be able to control like where it goes, so it just skip one. So if I was doing this, if you could remove it using just the item, then even if I did this 4 would remain, since it would just skip over this, so it wouldn't check it, and then it would go straight to the 5. Whereas if I leave that in like that with a while loop, it's still going to remove both, and there we go. So yeah, basically just use the while loop when you're modifying a list. Otherwise, if you just need to see the contents of a list, use a for list, as it is much more simple. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in a future tutorial. Bye!